Hello and welcome back to another day in the arena. It's me, it's CGB, and on our Elemental tour, we first showed the aggro deck yesterday, and we're showing the Temur Elemental Midrange deck today. This deck goes much bigger on mana than the aggro version with Creeping Trailblazer that I put up yesterday, and uses Leafkin Druid, which is an Elemental 0/3 for 2 that can tap for a green, or can tap for 2 green if you control 4 or more creatures, to help, along with Llanowar Elves, ramp you up into Cavalier of Thorns, which is an Elemental Knight, which also gets you more land, which then lets you play Huge Hydroid Krasi, as well as Chandra the Awakened Inferno. The -3 on Chandra deals 3 damage to each non-elemental creature, allowing your Leafkin Druid to survive. Rip Llanowar Elves. Nissa, who shakes the world, makes elemental land creatures, which means they are not killed by Chandra the Awakened Inferno, which makes them a nice little team, and the Krasis keeps coming back. When Cavalier of Thorns dies, you may exile it and put target card from your graveyard on top of your library. Cards like Hydroid Krasis come to mind, or Omnath, Locus of the Royal. This deck goes much bigger on lands, as I already mentioned, and that means that the second ability of Omnath will trigger more often. Whenever a land enters the battlefield, put a +1/+1 counter on an elemental you control. If you control 8 or more lands, draw a card. So this deck can start doing some pretty crazy things as it progresses into the mid and late game. Early on, we just want to ramp and keep things dead. We want to get a little value with Risen Reef. Then we want to use Cavalier of Thorns to get into big mana territory, followed by Mega Hydroid Krasis and powerful Planeswalkers. It's a very fun deck. As for the removal spells, I'm right now rolling with 2 Shocks, 4 Lava Coils, and 2 Negates. I found the Lava Coils important for this deck because it does need to go into the mid and late game, so if your opponent has a card like a Rekindling Phoenix, you can't out-aggro it like you might in the Elemental aggro deck. There are plenty of things where exiling them to keep your opponent from accruing death value, like a Midnight Reaper comes to mind, but there's a lot of similar kind of effects. That is why we need more Lava Coils. Also 2 Negates just to keep our opponent from doing epic Command the Dreadhorde nonsense, and when you hit them with a Negate at the right time, it feels so good. Also, it can stop an opposing Nissa who shakes the world, which is a big problem. Chandra can kill it, but only by taking herself to absolute 0, and her -3 doesn't kill the 3/3 elementals, so it's very nice to pull a Negate if your opponent's going to drop a Nissa on you. Alright. I think I've introduced the deck enough. We also have a few temples in the mana base. There's a Temple of Epiphany, Temple of Mastery. These scry lands are nice. They replace a few of the check lands here. We're just trying this out. Check lands have the potential to enter the battlefield untapped, while scry lands never do, but the occasional great scry can make a difference in the game. So it's unclear if I want to use these. Plenty of people have asked me if they should craft the scry lands right now, if they already have crafted their checklands and shocklands, and I don't think you need to craft them right now. You will probably need to craft them at some point, because once the checklands rotate with Dominaria, you're going to need some kind of dual land to keep your mana base cool. Anyway, that's the deck. Let's go see if we can make some giant jellyfish beasts. Hey guys, let's take a quick break to talk about Flipside Gaming's Core 2020 Booster Box giveaway. From now until July 15th, you can win an entire box of M20 for free if you follow these steps. Number 1, find $10 or more worth of stuff at flipsidegaming.com that you like. Easy. They have singles, they have sealed product, and they have all the gaming supplies you need. So, number 2. Use the promo code CGB before checkout. This saves you 10% and it supports the channel at the same time. Number 3, complete your order. That's it. Even a mono red player can figure it out. Please check out the links in the description to read the giveaway's rules and conditions, and thank you for supporting the channel. May the best mage win. All right, we've got turn 2 Leafkin, turn 3 Omnath, turn 4 Nissa, turn 5 Cav. Assuming nothing terrible happens, so that's a lot of power, and it can take out a 2 toughness thing from the opponent. All right, to the battlefield. We're actually pretty reliant on this. I really don't want anything to happen to it. Okay, so do we play out the Omnath? Feels like we may as well. It will deal 2 damage to the opponent. They have to kill it or it will start growing my other Omnaths or my other elementals. So I think it's worth just running it out here. Zap. We'll throw a hello back to our opponent. Maybe they were just being friendly. All right, they have a Risen Reef. It's on. So we could go Cavalier Thorns or we could go Nissa Who Shakes the World. Seems like the earlier the Nissa, the better. I kind of want to attack my opponent with an unclaimed territory. So let's name Elemental. Let's put a +1/+1 counter on the Omnath to try to get it out of Lava Coil and Lightning Strike and other Omnath range. Let's drop Nissa Who Shakes the Freaking World. Let's throw the unclaimed territory at our opponent. And let's put them under immense pressure. This is the joy of being on the play, my friends. When you go first, the world is your oyster. Anything is possible. All right. So if our opponent runs a similar deck, okay, they're using double Risen Reef. That does get value. Do they have a way to catch up? That's the real question. Like, are they running cards like Flood of Tears or big over-the-top effects like Mass Manipulation that can get them out of this situation? Let's move a counter. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, we'll go here. It's fine. This is fine. How about a Cavalier of Thorns? Hit that unclaimed territory. Name Elemental. Would have preferred a Forest to go with my Nissa, but what can you do? All right, now we can grow you. Work on getting you out of Lava Coil range. So I don't have another, like, enters the battlefield effect. We can make another land into a 3/3 with a second Nissa Who Shakes the World. Let's see, block here, block here. I don't think that's worth it. You don't have to go. You can stay home. Those Risen Reefs are going to have to get in front. So is there any reason to hold back the other Druid? I don't think so. Well, that said, the Druid doesn't do much. A little extra mana probably won't matter. If we draw a Risen Reef, this can be a trigger for the Risen Reef to see more cards, which I think is better than the Druid just being an 0/3 on this board. So we will hold it back. So our opponent's gone Reef into Reef. They have a full grip. Can they do something with it? Here's a Chandra's Embercat. Now we'll see another card. We'll show the opponent that we mean business by spamming our Chandra Kitty at them. Let them know that we're coming. Alright, that will deal 3 damage to a target. The opponent has selected to kill the mountain. Bye-bye, mountain. Smap. Omnath goes slap. So, are they dead? We need to find a way to deal 1 more damage. If we had drawn a land, we could have... Okay, well, the opponent scoops it up. Drawing the negate is probably the wrap-up. Oh, and we have the Nissa. So we do have lethal with Nissa, make a creature, play another Nissa, make another creature, as long as we tap well. So what we've got here are some Leafkins, some Reefs, a Shock. Let's hang on to that. Hopefully a giant Hydroid Crassus, and our opponent's leading on a Vanguard. Well, I'm definitely going to pay 2 life here to have Shock available. But I'd love to hit a Pride Mate instead of the Vanguard. Let's see what our opponent plays. I'm going to let them hit me here and try to use the Shock on the best possible target. My turn? Alright, well, in that case, I'm trying to think of what else they might have. A Night Token, something I might have to Shock? I'm not going to shock this. I'm not going to shock this. A Druid can block this all day. We're good. Now I could hold up the Shock in case the opponent wants to go for a Pride Mate and another creature next turn to get it out of Shock range and play a Llanowar Elf instead. It's a similar ramp effect, plus Risen Reef and Druid draws cards, where Druid on its own just blocks for 1 damage, so I think this is fine. A lot of decision points already early in the game. Hopefully navigating them well. No blocks. The opponent kind of on a slow start. They better have a play here. If it's like a History of Benalia, that's scary. Shield Mare. Okay, this does feel like a Pridemate deck, so having a shock available for the Pridemate, I think it is going to be a big deal. Let's play you. Let's get you onto the battlefield. Start the value train. And try to set up our giant Crassus. Another shock is nice. But yeah, making a deliberate effort to leave up shocks just about every step of the way. The opponent may also have the Ajani that creates Ajani's Pridemates. They have a Karn. Weird.
Our actions determine the course of history.
Making a Karnstruct so that the Vanguard gets pumped and can start gaining life. Think it's as good a time as any to get that off the battlefield now. It also lets the opponent who may be playing around shock themselves think that we spent our shock. Lava Coil off the top. Can't be blocked by red creatures. Didn't attack. So the opponent is defending Karn. Okay, if that's what you want. Let's play out the Leafkin Druid. Take that action, put that onto the battlefield, name Elemental. I actually hate that window quite a bit. I wish there was a way to auto-dismiss it. And then let's play another Druid. And we're going to have a ton of mana next turn for the Hydroid Crassus because these will each produce 2 as long as we have 2 creatures, or 4 creatures, I mean. So right now you're looking at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 on the Crassus scale, and the opponent, too tilted, can't continue, hates Risen Reef, doesn't even want to see a jellyfish. I can't believe this is happening in Ranked. Normally these quick scoops are like 100% free play, but in Ranked, I never get quick scooped like this. Alright, I'll crack this pack for the lulz. Celebrate our epic victory. We get a Loxodon Life Chanter. 6 mana, 4/6 when it enters the battlefield. You may have your life total become the total toughness of creatures you control. Sounds fun. Plus X, where X is your life total. So, fun life total shenanigans with a 4/6 big bootied elephant. Looks like some weird art. Looks like some kind of an elephant ice cream sundae. I don't know. Alright. Temple of Epiphany can come down, negate can be opened, and then Risen Reef can occur, followed by Omnath. So I love it. We do want one more land, and of course, all the lands leading up to the Hydroid Crassus. Risen Reef might find a land, but I think it would be greedy to bottom one if I see it with the Temple. I like thinking about what I'll scry ahead of time. Opponent mulling it up, but getting a Leyline of Sanctity onto the battlefield. If it's in your opening hand, you may begin the game with it on the battlefield. You have Hexproof. Okay. So the opponent having Hexproof means I can't Omnath their face. Let's see, when it enters the battlefield, it deals damage to any target equal to the number of elements you control. So yeah, we gotta keep that one in mind. So this enters the battlefield tapped unless I just pay this 2 life right now. May as well do it. My opponent might be on Esper here. Negating a Thought Erasure sounds really fun. Pew pew! Got 'ems. Alright, this enters untapped now because of the Steam Vents. Risen Reef can come down. Let's get the value rolling. Let's hope to dodge. Not a good draw. Let's hope to dodge another Thought Erasure. If they mulligan to 6, had a Leyline of Sanctity and 2 Thought Erasures. Well, rage. It's fine. This is fine. I had a good plan, and now it's gone. Lahoy. Alright. I think we'll play that instead of the other Omnath. Just max values. Always enter tapped when you do this off Risen Reef. You can't enter it untapped even if you pay 2 life, like a nerd. Not good to draw the shock there either. Top of the deck with Lava Coil and Shock is for a different matchup, that's for sure. go ahead and play out this breeding pool. I don't imagine myself shocking anything here. We can't even shock the opponent's face. They have a ley line. It's a terrible draw. Okay. Wow. Some opponents get away with the craziest mulligans. Let's play out the Omnath. We have to target ourselves. We could also target the Omnath. That would have been smarter, but whatever. I'm playing around Disfigure, darn it. I thought of that myself. Don't question me. Sarcasm. Is that a Teferi? Hear the bell toll. If it is a Teferi, at least we have a shock for it, which can leave our opponent possibly out of gas. Other Teferi. Sure.
Right on schedule.
Well, Omnath can come right back down and kill it. So what do?
Let's try this.
Just draw a card. Do not bounce the Omnath. That's weird. You must have a way to kill the Omnath then. Jeez. Either you just top deck that or that whole turn was a massive troll. Their hand has been nothing short of incredible. Let's go ahead and knock the Time Raveler off. If they untap and play Teferi, Hero of Dominaria, they will get my tilt scoop. Okay. Well, at least that didn't happen, and that's not a terrible draw for me. I'm going to hold this land in case we draw another Omnath, because another Omnath, when you play the 8th land, can draw a card. But let's go, Chandra. Let's show him who's boss.
And no one is telling you.
So the +1 on Chandra adds emblems that will slowly kill the opponent. It gets around Leyline of Sanctity because the emblems do not target. It would be really awkward, but it says each opponent. It would be incredibly awkward if it said target opponent and we couldn't give them an emblem because of the Leyline. But not the case. So, do you want your D-Spark back now? It's a deep thought. I think it's as simple as, can you remove the Chandra? If not, if not, oops. Reading all the cards in all the graveyards and playing Command the Dreadhorde for 1 Teferi Time Raveler. Wow. Just to draw a card, huh? Just to draw a card. So should Chandra exile Teferi the Time Raveler, or should Chandra add more emblems? I like emblems.
Is it just me? Or
We
is it getting
can
a little
we can
too
light
much?
this thing on fire later when it's about to draw another card if our Chandra lives. And I think that's okay. I think doubling up emblems to increase their clock is the better play here. Make them end the game faster.
This up as I go.
Even if they Teferi emblem me, they'll still have to deal with the Chandra emblems. So did they draw a removal spell? Deep in the tank. Reading the Chandra again. Reading the cards in their hand again. Which of these removes Planeswalker? None of these removes Planeswalker. Why is my life so hard? Goes face with Oath of Kaya. Another Time Raveler.
Longer. Stand by and
Bouncing the Oath of Kaya almost certainly.
that's more like it.
Yep. Another land. We've drawn a lot of land, but Chandra is just trying to do the job all on her own. Three emblems. Every turn you'll take 3 damage. Can you beat that?
I have a plan.
Okay, there's some life gain. And hey, that's something I can lava coil. Don't look now, people. Oath of Kaya probably going face again to buy more time, but the Awakened Inferno will just keep adding those emblems. You can't gain life forever, Luke. You can't run forever. And they knew about this lava coil, so they know this is coming. No pressure indeed. Here's a Llanowar Elf. I'll go ahead and play out the lands. Maybe we'll draw we might also draw a jellyfish off the top. And now the opponent showed us a bell haunt, so slow rolling the lands might not be great. This looks like last season's Esper with Leyline of Sanctity. I wonder what they took out. Cry of the Canarium's interesting, though. It's definitely somebody who hates red decks. And I can respect that. But you're not against a red deck today. You're against me. So Shock can hit the Teferi Time Raveler to keep it from drawing a card. Llanowar Elf should hit the face. If it attacks the Teferi Time Raveler and tries to remove it, the Oath of Kaya will drain for 2 life. And the emblems just need to keep piling on.
Aw, looks like someone's getting a little sweaty.
Nice lines, Chandra. I give you credit for the lines. Now remember, we can't Shock face because of Leyline. So we'll just...
I won't let you win.
Really, Teferi? I think you will let me win. I think you will. Still holding this in case we draw an Omnath, but we can still have a Max Crassus if the opponent draws that. If I have to discard it to a Bell Haunt, I don't feel terrible about that. Like I said, not terrible. It's okay. This is fine. Oh, shut up. I'm in battle. There we go. Now she a happy kitty. Let's see. If I exile the Bell Haunt, I get 4 points of damage in, and there are 5 emblems. It's pretty good. Chandra is all charged up, too. Well, first let's see if Nissa resolves. She who shakes the world is here. Now we'll go -X. Get rid of the Bell Haunt. Because the Nissa damage for 3 is better.
The best way to destroy things.
We'll throw this mountain at your face.
Rise, my elemental
We're
friend.
not attacking the Teferi because of the Oath of Kaya. We want this game to end. Why won't you just die? Here comes emblems. Uno. Yeah, drawing Chandra was a good play. Let's do it again sometime. Alright, this hand is really slow. It's on the draw, but we have a Scryland, we have a Lava Coil to buy some time. Let's hope we're against a creature deck. I've been turn 2 Thought Erasured, a bit much for my taste. Alright, well, Negate is nice if we are against something else, and I'll keep a Risen Reef. That's our glue card. So far, so good. Alright, is it another Thought Erasure? Are we doing this again? Why did that take so long? I can't imagine. Maybe they're explaining their plays to the masses. It's the only excuse I accept. Negate, you gone. Shocking development. Alright, well, they know about this now, and they know they took the negate, so playing this tapped makes sense this time. Search for his Kanta. Okay. Time to start the value train. Risen Reef. Will we hit a land? We will hit an elf. Land would have been better. What will their next trick be? Cast down the reef. Well, at least they know how to respect the card. They do stall on 3 lands. So, I can play out the Omnath and deal 1 damage to my opponent, which isn't particularly impressive. Then every land I play after it will put a counter on the Omnath. So it's a decent threat that can't be cast down. We could also play a Llanowar Elf, or we could Crassus for 2. The opponent knows about one of these Crassi, so I like getting Crassus for 2 out. Then next turn Omnath with a land drop can be a 4/4. If we hit land, of course. Or if we do, probably Cavalier Thorns is what happens there. The opponent bins a land after not hitting land drops. What do we make of that? Are they in that much of a hurry to flip Search for his Kanta? That seems a little crazy. Or maybe I missed it. I thought they missed a land drop, but maybe I'm the crazy one. Crassus in. 2 points. Cavi of Thorny. Card is a big, beefy critter. So, do we want the unclaimed territory? If we take the forest, we can play the elf, so we'll grab that. We could have also named Elf with the territory, but it doesn't matter much. We have the colors we need. I probably run too many unclaimed territories in my elemental decks, to be honest. They do run a lot of creatures with tough mana, so it alleviates the pain, but like 2 of these might be a good number anyway. Too many Risen Reefs in the graveyard for my taste. I want those back. Also, getting the Forest makes a lot of sense for Nissa. Okay, you have a Bolas. I mean, what are you gonna do with it? Kill the Cavalier, okay. Let's put the Negate on top of the deck. That seems really good. Yeah, that seems really good. With Nissa? Oh boy. All right, get wrecked, dude. Let's go blue. Do we tap you to have more mana? Let's see, once we play Nissa, we'll have... Yeah, because we can play Omnath too, right? Okay, all the things that are not forests, please. There we go.
Strange and magnificent world.
You untap, you'll be my negate.
Land fights for us.
You can come down though. So you can tag the Bolas for 1 damage, slap.
Infuriating.
And they know about this negate that we have in hand, so what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do about this? And then we Mega Crassus next turn. Gonna be nasty. Opponent will put a Cry into the graveyard, that makes sense. Ritual of Soot would blow up you, you, and you. Let's not. If they had a Spell Pierce there, there would be some crying to be done, but not quite. So our opponent's taking 9, 10, 11, 12. We need 1 land off the top, or to draw one with a Hydroid Krasis. To pump with the Elemental, and that should be a lethal attack. 1, 2, 3, new Elemental, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Land with the Omnath trigger, +1/+1 counter is 13. The opponent will shock themselves to 11. They must have a removal spell. And it's an Angrass Rampage to take out the Nissa. Okay. Well, they buy some time, for sure. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So this won't draw a card. But we may as well play it. Let's pump the Breeding Pool, perhaps? It dies to the Ritual of Soot, and this doesn't die to Ritual of Soot or Cast Down, so we'll pump the Omnath. Now we can send an attack. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We can play a Crassus for 6 and draw 2 cards if we don't attack with the Elf. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So close. Down to 2. Crassus for 6. Fill my hand up. There's a shock. That will get them, even if they find a way to deal with the board. Game over. Let's see, turn 1 Elf, turn 2 tap land. Not great, but then Crassus comes along and our mana's good. I'll try it. Plus we have removal spells if the opponent's trying to run us over. Alrune Enforcer, huh? Okay. Well, now we have turn 2 Leafkin Druid and tap land into turn 3 possible Crassus, Lava Coil, something like that. Good old white aggro, huh? Still alive and kicking out there in the world. Am I ready for my elephant? Well, we could take our opponent off elephant, and I think that's just smart. I think that's just smart magic. Now at least they have to hit their land drop if they're going to play the elephant, and they don't have a 2/3 Law Rune Enforcer. There's their land. Is it an elephant? Can it be an elephant? It has to be an elephant. It's always an elephant. All right, fine. Next trick. Hold on. So we're going to use all our mana anyway, so it doesn't matter which of these we really tap. We need a blue, so we have to play this. So we tap it for blue, and we tap this so that we have Lava Coil available. Here's a Reef. They're Leafykins. Get that out of town. Really need to draw Omnath. Omnath is a pretty good house against these style of decks. Coming into the battlefield and killing one of their creatures and then growing your creatures so that they don't get outsized is what matters. And History of Benalia, all the hits, all the white hits. Think you want to get in there for some damage? I would, wouldn't you? Wouldn't you, my friends? People watching at home. Okay, no blocks. Maybe the opponent is thinking I'm going to Law Rune enforce your Leafkin Druid and shut that mana down. Let's see. Nope, they let me draw. So, land. Let's drop you Leafies. We're going to try to build up a lot of mana for this Crassus. I think I have the time. I'm at 18 life. Take that action. Kind of needed a little bit more there, or at least it felt like I did. So this would be a Crassus for 3. Not good enough. Let's hope the opponent goes for another History of Benalia Unbreakable Formation. Something that's not a creature, maybe a Conclave Tribunal. Make this negate good. It's not like the white aggro deck doesn't have good targets for negate. It's just whether or not they try to cast them. Ta-da! Ooh, they were windmill slamming that too, weren't they? They did not have to think about that. It was like, wah-wah! Na-na! Druid's worth 2 mana now. It's going to be a big Crassus. If the opponent had a Conclave Tribunal, I don't know if they would have played it or not, because there aren't the greatest targets here, so I wouldn't be surprised if they're slow rolling a Tribunal. But the Law Rune Enforcer can also tap down the Crassus body. It must be my birthday. I'm doing it. Goodbye, Llanowar Elf. Nice to know ya. Sorry. It was a good run while it lasted. Now, that does take our Crassus off of the Leafkin Druids, off of making double mana for Crassus. So we'll have to think about that next turn. But I think that just getting this board dead is gotta be the way.
Stay back.
3 damage to each non-elemental creature.
Let's make some more room to fight in.
Yeah. The Dauntless one is here. That must have been their draw. They definitely would have played it last turn, and now they reveal their last card as a land, which would have been the only thing that made sense, except for another Unbreakable Formation. And there we go. Pass it on back. Let's play our Llanowar Elf. These now make the double mana again. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So 6 power Crassus. Just going nuts. You come down, you come down. So do we give our opponent an emblem or just keep removing their threats? I like removing threats. Although, actually, yeah, I like removing threats. Now we have 2 elves on the battlefield. We sweep more of their stuff than ours. Or more of our stuff than theirs is what my words did not say. And the opponent can't take it. That's Chandra. Oh, that's Chandra. So lovely. I hope you enjoyed our time with the Elemental Midrange deck. I think the deck's biggest weaknesses are decks that go way over the top. Ramp, Simic decks, Scapeshift decks. We didn't play against any of those quite yet, but Scapeshift decks have been really improved. That Flood of Tears deck that you guys saw, unless I have Negate at the perfect time, is probably game over in this matchup. And I think the Esper deck is a tough matchup too. You'll see a video where I beat Esper with the Chandra because that was easily the best game I played against Esper. I lost the other 2 games that I played, Thought Erasure into Kaya's Wrath is really good if you don't pull a Planeswalker at the right time. If you do, you can run away with the game. But if you don't have exactly a Planeswalker in the right spot, you're in trouble. Also, if you play against too much Esper, Lava Coil can be a huge liability and might want to be trimmed. Some amount of Lightning Strikes or Domri's Ambush could replace them. Probably Lightning Strike because your elementals tend to die a lot against the Esper deck. You do, however, have grindy elements and strong top decks like Hydroid Krasis that can keep you in those games. So, just things to think about with regards to the elemental midrange. And I have no idea if it's good against red. I haven't played against red in a day and a half. That's why I can't stop smiling today. Next up, I think I'm going to do a video on the Command the Dreadhorde version of the Elemental deck to give you the full Elemental deck picture, and I wrote about all 3 decks on tempostorm.com. That article should be live by the time you're watching this video. And that's going to bring me to the end of this particular vid, so really cool stuff. Please remember to check out the free-to-play CGB channel that I just launched and subscribe over there if you want action from my free-to-play account, budget decks, and more introduction kind of level, talking through what I'm doing and why, crafting, guides, things like that, as well as a whole bunch of free codes. That's fun. And then there's also a new channel for my live streams, which I'm porting over from Twitch and putting here on YouTube for you to watch, something I haven't really done before, and it has its separate channels, so it's not clogging up the main channel's feed. So if that interests you, please subscribe to those channels. Links are in the description. Thank you for watching this video. As always, I will see you in the next video. Goodbye.